Hello and welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Andrea. I have been an Etsy seller for 8 years. It's my full-time job, and so this channel is where I share everything I'm learning and have learned in the past, all about Etsy, all the things. So that is what we talk about on this channel. Today specifically, we are going to be talking about how much it costs to sell on Etsy. So we're going to be breaking down some fees from Etsy, some fees just for running a small business, and getting a good idea of how much it costs to sell on Etsy. So as someone who talks about Etsy online quite a bit, obviously that is what I talk about. So I hear a lot of questions. One thing I hear a lot is how much does it cost to sell on Etsy? And so I wanted to break that down in a YouTube video. So for the purposes of this video, we are going to be breaking down the fees in two ways. So the first category is fees that are from Etsy, like what will show up on your Etsy bill, how much it costs to sell from Etsy. And then the second category that we're going to break down is fees that are just associated with having a small business. So fees not from Etsy. So that is how we're going to break down this video. And we are going to dive into fees from Etsy first. Etsy definitely gets a bad rep for not being forthcoming, not forthcoming because it's all disclosed, but their fees are a little bit confusing. And so understanding Etsy fees is something that a lot of people really struggle with, but it is absolutely important for making sure that you know your numbers, which is something I highly recommend Etsy sellers know, is how much money they're making on each product and also how much they're making every year. It's really important for that. And so we need to break them down. So that's what we're going to talk about right now. The first fee that we are going to talk about is the listing fee. This is a fee that incurs whenever you list a new product or a listing renews. So there's a little thing there that I think people often forget. So this is a 20-cent fee. This is the only fee that is charged to you before you sell something on Etsy. So to start on Etsy, it literally only costs you 20 cents from Etsy. Obviously, there's other expenses involved. It only costs you 20 cents to start selling on Etsy. So that is the listing fee that you pay to list an item. It also applies whenever an item is renewed, and an item is renewed every time it's sold. So that's really important to know because it's basically like you're getting charged 20 cents for every sale. And I think that's something people forget about often. So definitely worth noting that you are getting charged 20 cents every time that item is sold, and that is what your listing fee is. The second fee that we are going to talk about from Etsy are their transaction fees. So again, the listing fee is the only fee that you get charged before you actually sell something. So your transaction fee does not incur, I don't know what the word is there. It does not happen until you actually sell something. The fee for selling on Etsy right now, as this video is being recorded, is 6.5%. And this is basically the fee that you pay to use Etsy's platform. So their platform has benefits, of course, like a shipping backend and a messages backend and marketing, like a whole market. They bring a lot of people to their platform. The 6.5% is what you pay Etsy to use their platform. There is no monthly fee or anything like that on Etsy. So this is how you pay Etsy to use their platform. It's a 6.5%, and that 6.5% includes shipping and gift wrapping if you offer it. So it's based on the total amount that your item sells for, I believe pre-tax. The total amount that your item sells for, that you're paying 6.5% of that. And that is the Etsy transaction fee. One more thing to note is that this fee in particular is pulled straight from your Etsy payment account. So unlike a listing fee that incurs before you start selling on Etsy, this just comes straight from your Etsy balance because it only happens after you make a sale. The third type of fee that we are going to talk about is payment processing fees. And honestly, this would happen no matter what platform you sold on. So it is Etsy specific because Etsy charges them. And so when we're talking about Etsy, it's disingenuous to leave it out. However, if you're comparing selling on Etsy or Shopify or something, do not use payment processing fees as a different way, because as far as a difference in the platforms, because as far as I can tell, Etsy's payment processing fees are very competitive with other markets, and there is not a platform, unless I am misinformed, there is not a platform on the internet that doesn't charge payment processing fees. So You will get charged payment processing fees on your Etsy shop. This is in addition to the listing fees and the transaction fees. And your payment processing fees depend on which country you are in. So for the US, it is 3% plus 25 cents is your payment processing fee. And again, you're gonna pay that basically no matter what platform you go on, and you can look up what it is for your country if you're not in the United States. The last fee we are going to talk about is the offsite ads fee. This fee gets people's panties in a wad. No, not like, for a lack of a better term, people freak out about this fee. So basically, I'm not rolling my eyes. It is an annoying fee, but people do really freak out. So basically, this is a fee that Etsy charges you if you get a sale from some of their offsite ads marketing efforts. So what this looks like, I'll use an example to try and explain it. So say Etsy is running Facebook ads and their Facebook ads result in a sale for you and your shop, you would get charged this offsite ads fee. The way they charge the fees are a little bit weird, so I'm just gonna read it directly from their site just because it is a little bit weird the way they calculate it. So it says, if you made less than 10,000 USD, you'll be charged a 15% fee for an order attributed to an offsite ad. So basically, say you get that ad and you have made less than $10,000 on Etsy in the past year, I think it's in the calendar year, you will get charged 15% for that sale. And if you have made at least $10,000, you'll get a discounted fee of 12%. The thing that does not say is that if you have less than 10,000 sales, or $10,000 in sales, you can opt out of offsite ads. So you can choose to say, nope, I don't want my products marketed on offsite ads, and so because I don't want to pay it. If I pay that, it's going to cost too much. So you can opt out of them, I believe. We cannot opt out. And I don't love it, to be honest, but this is not a video about my opinion on the fees. This is just a video about the fees itself. So that is the fourth and final Etsy fee that we're talking about. Now we are going to dive into overall business expenses, fees that incur just from having a small business, regardless of Etsy. Okay, so obviously these fees vary drastically from business to business in both price and necessity. So something that I find absolutely necessary for running my small business, you might find to be not necessary at all. You might not need it. And so these vary drastically based on the business that you are in and what your business looks like and the volume that you are doing. But we are going to cover a few categories for small businesses, and you can kind of just take what applies to your business and calculate it for knowing your numbers. The first thing we are going to talk about is softwares for admin and marketing. So thinking of things like Google Drive, if you pay for that, Planoly, Trello, if you pay for that, Canva, if you need to pay for that, all of those sorts of softwares that you might have subscriptions to for marketing or managing your shop. So that is the first category for business expenses, overall business expenses. Make sure that you are accurately accounting for those. And so usually those show up in a monthly payment. So just go through your credit card or debit card statement and make sure you're accurately tracking all of the monthly expenses that your business incurs. The second category we are going to talk about is equipment and cost of goods. So for your bookkeeping for your shop, these technically should not be lumped together. That would be like a taxes nightmare. Do not lump them together. But for the sake of this video, because this is so highly dependent on what you sell, we are going to lump them together just for the ease of this video. Okay, so this category includes anything that you need to make your products. So I'll just use my business as an example just because I'm literally in my shop, so I can just look around and tell you guys what we needed as far as equipment and cost of goods. So that looks like my embroidery machines, my threads, my computers that need our embroidery software, which we also had to pay for. That is what my equipment and cost of goods, my equipment fee is. Cost of goods looks like my inventory closet. So like my Sherpas, the things of the goods that I'm actually selling, the cost of those goods to me. And so that is like why I'm lumping it into one big category, because if you sell digital items and you probably have no cost of goods at all, but a high equipment fee, all those sorts of things, it just makes a lot of sense to lump it together. You are going to definitely have to apply this to your business specifically, but that is the next category, is cost to make your item and then the cost of your item before you add on like your profit. So that is the second category for business expenses not from Etsy. The last category that we are going to talk about in this video is education. So this is fees or expenses that you take on to learn more either about your craft or about business itself. So that is the last sort of expense that we're going to talk about. Obviously, again, that varies wildly between industries and how much you even need and also how much it costs. But the last category that we're talking about in this video is education. Again, I'm saying in this video because there are so many different things that vary so differently from business to business. And so you might be hearing this saying, well, I have a rent payment, which I do have a rent payment, and you didn't talk about that at all, which is totally true because a lot of people don't have a rent payment. There are a lot of ways, a lot of business fees outside of Etsy that your business could incur that I can't possibly talk about them all in one video, but those are the big categories. The ones from Etsy are pretty solid. I don't think there's any more types of fees. I'll have to double check that, but I don't think there's any more types of fees. The ones where we're talking about business itself outside of Etsy are where it gets very dependent on what you sell. If you are new and watching this and you're getting overwhelmed, do not get overwhelmed. A lot of those expenses come later on, and it's just, when you're talking about it all at one time, it feels like more than it really is. So I don't want you to get overwhelmed. If you love to learn about selling on Etsy and growing on Etsy, that is exactly what we talk about around here. So I would love it if you subscribed. Make sure to check out my free Etsy masterclass. It is an hour-long, basically, class teaching you how to make $1,000 on your Etsy shop in 30 days. And we walk through a 3-step framework explaining how to find success on Etsy. So check that out in the description below and subscribe if you are wanting to learn more about growing on Etsy. Thanks guys for watching.